but this is their Middleton Games 18-inch, the Map series board. Now, Middleton Games, if you missed the first review, is Gammon Village's budget line. It's all in-house. They make everything themselves. They're in charge of the manufacturing and the parts and the pieces. And as I mentioned just barely, the tournament size board that I tried from them was really great quality for the price. It was quite large. I loved the stones or the checkers that you got. And so this is a more compact option, and it has a more unique design. Now, the Map design is not unique in general. You can find a million of these different boards on Amazon, but what I do think is different when it comes to this particular model is the craftsmanship. So I've had one of the cheap Map boards. Many of us have when we start out in the backgammon hobby. And the material is just, it's thin. It feels like it's gonna fall apart. It's very lightweight. They don't scream quality to me. Now, this, even though it's a budget board, the faux leather, the leatherette or whatever this is really, really durable. It's got a rough kind of pebbled texture finish on it. It's extremely well applied to the underlying wood or whatever material that they use. There's no bubbles or seams or anything like that. It's completely flush and completely tight and taut against the underlying material. Now, I think they have a couple different Map boards. I liked the white finish, and you know, it's a nice conversation piece. It looks cool. It adds a little bit of visual intrigue as opposed to just a plain color. So if that's your thing, by all means, go for it. We do have the accents on the edges with the brown leatherette, as well as the handle. The handle on this is actually quite good. It feels similar to their more expensive Wycliffe Brothers and Silverman & Co. boards. Very solid all around, good finishing, no loose pieces, no like empty airy filling inside. And then we've got the chrome accents for the handle and the clasps. And these are actually nice clasps, to the point where I spent $400 on a tournament board from somewhere else, if you watch one of my other videos, and I was not happy with the clasps. This board that's a budget model has much better clasps than that board, okay? So I really like these. They're solid, they lock pretty tight, but they're easy to open, and they keep the board together if you are moving around. Now, let's do a couple quick measurements. So lengthwise, I mentioned already, this is an 18-inch board, and it's coming in at about 18 1/4, a little under that. And then width-wise, just the board, not the handle and the clasp, is about 10 inches, 10 1/4. So width-wise, when you open it all the way up, you're gonna be looking maybe 21 inches or so. Enough about the exterior though. Let's crack it open and talk about what's inside. Now that we've zoomed in, you can see the finish again up close of the board. That nice pebbled leatherette looks great, and the quality of it as far as any manufacturing defects is exceeds what I would expect for a board of this price. No visual defects that I can see. So let's crack this open and take a look inside. Now, I've already got some games in on this and taken everything out of the packaging, but all the checkers, the dice, the cups, everything comes wrapped in tissue paper and plastic, and Gammon Village does a really good job about that. Now, they do include an instruction sheet right here if you've never played the game before, and I really, really love the high contrast color scheme on the inside of the board. We've got this really soft suede material right here and a beautiful tan, and then white and black classic colors, very high contrast. If you're someone who struggles with seeing pieces apart or telling shades of colors apart, this is going to be the easiest board possible to play on. We've got the Middleton Games logo right here, a nice, well done badge. The two cups are finished in the same material as the exterior of the board, with the Map finish, the pebbled leatherette, and a suede on the inside to match the playfield. There is no trip lip, so I would keep that in mind, and if I offered any advice to Middleton Games or Gammon Village, it would be that they add a trip lip even in their budget boards. It just adds a little bit of credibility, and if you were to take this to a tournament or to go play with a more serious player, you would have that trip lip, which is important. Now, let's go over to dice and cube, because they're fairly straightforward. The cube is bigger than the dice, which I know is pretty important. People like to see that. It's a basic sans serif font. It looks good, easy to see, legible, great. The dice are on the larger size, I believe. I can grab my tape measure here. These are probably, what, half-inch dice? A little over half inch, maybe, what is that, 9/16, or maybe even a touch more than that. So pretty big dice, but I think they're well suited to the size of the board, and listening to those cups, pretty good. You're gonna hear a little bit of sound as they hit the points. The play surface is padded. The points, though, I think are a little bit rougher, a little bit harder. So you do hear the dice when you hit those, and so there is a bit of noise. We've got the black, the white, the pips are all good. Finishing here is top notch. I don't see any paint dips or divots or anything on here that would make me not happy with the quality of these dice, okay? And I'm not gonna change these ones out because they match the points on the board, okay? And that brings us to the checkers. And this is an area where these budget boards from Middleton Games excel because these are the nice urea stone checkers. These ones are exceptionally thick for their diameter, which I really like to see. They have a nice sound. You can kind of hear. They feel very, I don't know, well made, very heavy, and I'm happy with them. Now, putting these across all 6 points, you can see we've got quite a bit of wiggle room here. I'm not sure why that always occurs in budget boards, like why they can't bring down the measurements a 1/4 inch or something like that. So these ones definitely, as you kind of stack up multiple, they're not gonna like fall evenly to their points. You are gonna have to align them somewhat. It's not terrible. I've definitely had worse, but there's more play than the premium and luxury boards that I own. Now, as far as going across, these checker diameter wise are 1 1/4 inch, and because of the length of this board, you can actually fit quite a few across. I believe, let's just see here, we can fit 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, almost a 14th here on the end. So you can stack a ton of checkers across a single point. So let's get this set up. We'll play a few rolls, and then I'll talk about my overall impressions of this board. So we'll get white on this side. Get our dice cups out of the way here. And as always, this is the point in the video where I ask if you are a strategy master, as I am fairly new to learning the more heavy strategy size of backgammon. As I play these rolls, please chime in and tell me your thoughts on my play or the most optimal move. Okay, so we're gonna have white, we're gonna have our black over here. Get our doubling cube out of the way for now. Let's toss these. 5 and 1. Okay, so black takes it. We're gonna do 5 down here and probably split the back. 6 and 1 for white. Great opening roll. Bring that down. Pretty no-brainer there. Black, 2 and 1. Let's see. I mean, we can bring these together here. Or if we want to make a little more progress, bring down a builder. And we slot the 5. Is that too risky? Leaving 2 blots there. Do we just bring the back forward a little bit more? All right, this is an area where I need you guys' help here. White, 5 and 1. So we'll probably bring the 5 down and split our back this time. Couple more rolls here. 3 and 1 for black. Make our 5. Pretty easy choice there. And 6 and 5. Just run with the back for white. So just as you can see me playing on this, you know, I've played a lot of backgammon, obviously. It's fairly easy for me to just know to pick up the checker and place it down. Like, I'm not having an issue with like running into the points and needing to slide it. It's a second nature to me. And if you learn on this board, I don't think you're going to have any issue. It may take you a second if you're used to printed points to know to pick up the checker and lay it down. But for me, I mean, it's not really that big of a deal. And these are chunky enough, thick enough, and diameter-wise big enough that it's not like you're fumbling to pick up tiny little pieces. These are pretty easy to just pick up and throw wherever you need to do it. So overall, I think this is an appropriately priced set. If you are into the aesthetic of the map design, you want something more than just a boring color, you need to have some high contrast play fields for the visually impaired or if someone struggles with colors. If you want nice, decent quality checkers and a board that's a size that you could travel with, but also you don't feel cramped on, that's what I think this is aimed for. There's a lot of options around this price, but none of them are gonna have the fit and finish, I think, of the Middleton Games. And that's just because Gammon Village cares so much about their product. And that is the Middleton Games 18-inch map design backgammon board. It's a great beginner model. It's great for a travel set for someone that you don't mind if it gets a little bit beat up. It's got its downsides with the stitched on points and the no triplets on the cup, but overall fit and finish far exceeds other boards at this price point.